This is going to be a movement analysis on the split jerk. This is from myself today. On the left, we have 240 pounds. On the right, we have 270. In both of them, there were some things I did right and some things I did wrong. I'm going to play them through twice so you can see it. They won't be perfectly timed the second time because the clip links are different. And then we're going to break this down. And I'm making this because there are some small things in here that you may not be aware of when doing the split jerk or any shoulder to overhead movement in that matter. And I just want to break them down so you can kind of start paying attention to these. So here we go, playing it. So relatively similar. Getting a little love from Casey in the back on the left. Let's play it one more time. One thing I want you to be aware of, and this isn't me like highlighting myself, rather this is just, I see this a lot as a coach. You should try to do every lift the same. So these two lifts were 6 minutes apart, but if you weren't paying attention to the background, you might think it's the same lift because of how I walk it out, what I do with my feet, how far I step back, so on and so forth. All right, so both are made lifts and both look very similar, almost identical at first, but let's break it down. I'm gonna rewind both of them. Sorry, this little scroll bar messes me up. All right. So I've already drawn these lines on here. I wanted to just do that ahead of time to make it a little bit easier. All right. So the bar path, when we're doing any type of push press, push jerk, split jerk, we want to be as close to straight down and straight up as possible. And if it starts to shift forward, that's going to cause some errors in the rest of the lift. I forever have had issues with this. I've worked and worked on it a lot over the years, and it's better, but it's still not improved. The reason I put these two lifts beside each other is because the 240 on the left is actually much worse in regards to the bar path, but I was able to save it. The 270, although is worse on my footwork, is much better on the bar path. So let's see what I'm talking about. So if we're looking at the end of the bar in relation to the vertical green line, as I dip down, the bar goes down, and you already see it drifting forward away from the line. Here's where it makes a big change. See that little U shape? Watch the bar. It just does a U, and it goes forward. That is bad. That bar should still be on that green line. And things that cause that, I allow my weight to shift from my heels to my toes. And I don't know if you can actually see it because I know my feet are near the bottom of the frame. But if you watch my feet, you can start to see some space under my heels that's not there when I'm standing tall. And then as I come down, that space is there. What this is doing, it's shifting all of the weight, and in this case, a substantial weight, more than my body weight. It's shifting it forward. So now when I drive up, I know the bar is already going to be traveling forward instead of vertically up. So now I'm having to chase it. And now I'm going to have to move my entire body forward or hope that I can just manage to save it. So look how far in front of that line the bar is now. In this case, it's barely any, but in real life, that's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches forward. So I drive it up. I managed to have excellent footwork on this, and what I mean by that is I got my front leg out in a nice, almost vertical position when I'm talking about that shin. So that allowed me the room to be able to save it, because watch how much my body has to shift forward. I know it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but if we're looking at my torso and its direction, when I catch it, see how everything shifts forward? But since I had that front foot way out there, I was able to catch it, save it, and then return. All right, clear some of these. Oh, I cleared all of that. Didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I'll just draw a new line. All right, so now let's look at on the right side. Can I get my line? All right. Vertical enough. Oh, that was a little off, but whatever, you can tell. So on the right side, let's look at this dip that happens. As I dip down, the bar stays on that line and it moves forward only a little bit. If you look right there, it slightly goes forward, but then it drives up and it basically stays on that line. And if we watch my feet look a lot better. I keep the weight flat and I don't shift that weight onto my toes. So I'm going to have a much better drive. And I've got to do this because for me today, this was a max attempt. So the fact that it comes straight down and straight up with hardly any deviation forward, I'm very proud of this. That's going to give me a lot better opportunity to save the lift. And on this one, it was heavy and I actually short stepped a little bit. See this right here? This is not good. This angle. We do not want that. My knee is already over my toe, therefore not allowing me very much accidental error to let my body shift forward like I had on the previous lift. So the fact that on this one I did such a good job of that bar coming straight down and straight up, it unfortunately allowed me to not have the best footwork because I didn't have to shift around a lot after catching it. Right? I'm under it, and then I just had to push back, okay? And you'll see, watch that knee. You'll see it shift away from this angle to where I should be right there. See that difference now? See if I can get this guy in a different color. This is where we wanted the leg. It just didn't go. But this all comes down to, again, the fact that the bar path was much better down and up. I could easily, or accidentally shortchange it and still save this lift. Now, if we go back to the one on the left, if I had this big dip, boom, like that, and if I were to shortchange this with my front foot and I had no room to shift forward, if my foot were already angled back like that, I wouldn't be able to shift forward anymore to save it and I would have missed the lift. So although my footwork isn't perfect on either of these, it shows that a good bar path and decent or better footwork will allow you much better chances of saving the lift. And the big thing I wanted to break down on this again is that bar path. Straight down and straight up is what we want, and really watch out for the weight shifting forward. You won't feel it when you're doing it. You won't notice it's happening. It will literally take you watching a video and slow motion scrubbing it back and forth to see that it's happening. And then again, we can appreciate Casey in the left-hand side dancing. All right, guys. Hopefully that helped you out. I do plan to do more of these, so stay tuned. I know this was long, but it was very necessary to explain all these points. All right. See you out in the gym.